y'all? Preston from Fight Media 360 here. So this is a quick preview and prediction for Demian Maia versus Belal Muhammad. Again, this is on the Israel Adesanya versus Marvin Vettori 2 undercard. So let's go through their stats. So let's start with Demian Maia. So Demian Maia comes into the fight with the record of 28 wins, 10 losses, stands at a height of 6 foot tall, and fights out of Santana de Parnaíba, Paulo, Brazil. Sorry if I mispronounced that. So now let's go to Belal Muhammad. So Belal Muhammad comes into the fight with the record of 18 wins, 3 losses, and 1 no contest. Obviously, his 1 no contest was against Leon Edwards, who is also on the card. He got his eye poked out by Leon on accident. And Belal stands at a height of 5'10" and fights out of Chicago, Illinois, United States. So now we got all that out the way. So now let's talk about what they need to do to win the fight. So let's start off again with Demian Maia. So as you know, Demian Maia is one of the best grapplers and one of the best submission artists in the UFC history. One of them. Again, like, you know, he's up there also with like Nate Diaz. All of them. So obviously Demian Maia, what he needs to do is try his best to dominate on the ground. I know I said this a lot in my other videos, but all these guys are very good takedown artists, especially with Demian Maia. He's like Demian Maia. He like him and Ben Askren. They kind of remind me the same. They both absolutely suck at throwing hands. You know, they both are trash at throwing hands. So what he needs to do is keep Belal on the ground. Like, and then try your best, you know, to submit Belal. It's going to be very tough for Belal. It would be very tough for Belal because, you know, Demian Maia is a very smart guy when it comes down to the ground game. So he needs to take down Belal Muhammad because he's not going to beat Belal, you know, stand-up fight, because Belal Muhammad is a pretty decent fighter on, you know, like by a stand-up fight, you know what I'm talking about. But, you know, Demian Maia is obviously the better grappler. But Belal Muhammad can also grapple himself. He's actually a pretty good fighter at grappling. You know. And Demian Maia in this fight, he needs to just look for that submission and win on points in this fight. Demian Maia, when was his last fight? Like, let me see. I know he hasn't fought in a bit, I don't think. No, his last fight was against Gilbert Burns. He got TKO'd in the first round, and that was on the Lee versus Charles Oliveira undercard. So, yeah. So that's what Demian Maia needs to do is... But the thing with Demian Maia, like, it depends, because Demian Maia, like, he has lost a lot of fights in the past because of his age, you know. Because before he was, like, a very, very good... Like, he's still a good fighter, but he was undefeated, and he had, like, a lot of first-round stoppages from submission, so he was a very good submission artist. But then after that, once he started getting older, he started losing to, like, really good fighters, you know, like Chris Weidman, um, Tyron Woodley, Colby Covington, um, Kamar Usman, and Gilbert Burns. You know, he's losing like a lot of these fights against these top guys now because Demian Maia is getting a lot older. He is 43 years old, so he is an old man. He has been in the game for a very long time. You know, he is a legend. So this is going to be it's going to be a tough match because Belal Muhammad is the younger fighter, you know. So that can be a big advantage for Belal and that can be a big issue for Demian Maia. But Demian Maia needs to just don't just dominate on the ground. Win points on the ground. Try to submit Belal, and yeah. But for Belal Muhammad, what he needs to do is force Demian Maia to make it a scrap battle. You know, even though Belal Muhammad, you know, he also likes to wrestle, don't do it as much. Actually, don't wrestle at all with Demian Maia because you're definitely not going to win in a wrestling battle. Even though Belal is a good wrestler himself, but still he can't wrestle against a guy like Demian Maia. I'm pretty sure that's what Belal thinks too. So I think that Belal needs to pretty much win on points but on a stand-up fight because Demian Maia is absolutely just trash at a stand-up fight, you know. Especially like he let Ben Askren hit him up. He was kind of getting touched up by Ben Askren when it was like a, you know, a stand-up fight. He was getting touched. You know, so what Belal needs to do is don't grapple with Demian Maia. Just don't him because Belal definitely is a pretty good fighter. Is a pretty decent fighter when it comes down to fighting, like, you know, kind of like, you know, being a stand-up fighter, but he's a very good wrestler too. But I don't think wrestling is the key for this fight against Demian Maia because there's a high chance of possibility of Belal getting submitted. So even when Demian Maia is like 43 years old, he's still a very, very, very dominant fighter when it comes down to the ground game. So that's what Belal needs to do. Definitely do not grapple with Demian Maia. Demian Maia is an absolute monster. He is a beast when it comes down to ground game. So, you know, when you knock, maybe like, let's say if you knock down Maia and you know, and he's on his back trying to wait for you to come and, like, you know, grapple with him, don't do that. That's just a trap that Demian Maia is trying to do to, like, you know, because Demian Maia knows that if you're gonna go on the ground and, you know, if Demian Maia knows that if you're gonna go on the ground, you're screwed because you're not gonna get up. Like Ben Askren couldn't really get up, but I don't even know if Ben Askren didn't even want to get up. You know, Ben Askren is a fighter that doesn't really stand up that much. He is a big wrestler. Very good wrestler, actually. He beat guys like, you know, Robbie Lawler, but back to the fight. But yeah, this is a very good fight, you know. But just Belal, he can't go and wrestle with Demian Maia. That's a dangerous thing to do. That's not a smart thing to do. I don't think Belal in this fight is going to wrestle that much because Belal is a very smart fighter. He does go to distance a lot. He's not a big guy that, you know, likes to stop people because, like, Belal, he only got 4 TKOs and 1 submission. He went the distance 13 times. So he only got 5 stoppages altogether out of 18 wins. So he's not so. Belal is a guy that has very good cardio. Maybe he can drain Demian Maia. I'm not sure. Because Demian Maia is a very good fight. Is old. You know, maybe he can like show the age to Demian Maia, tire Demian Maia out. You know, because Demian Maia, you know, he had been in a bit of a layoff because, again, like his last fight was in March 14, 2020. So he hasn't fought in like a year and a half. So make sure to show like, you know, kind of like, you know, you like pretty much act like the younger fighter, pretty much. Be the younger fighter, act like you're the younger fighter, which you are. Try to drain Demian Maia. I know it's kind of hard to do because Demian is a guy that likes to grapple, and you know, people that can grapple really well have amazing cardio. But on the other hand, Demian Maia hasn't fought in a year and a half. So yeah, so Belal just needs to drain Demian Maia. Not grapple, play smart, you know, make it a stand-up game. Kind of like move around, not move, maybe like move around, try to drain Demian Maia. Just don't stand up close to Demian Maia because Demian Maia can easily just take you down. You know, because Demian Maia is just a very, very good fighter when it comes down to grapples. But when it comes down to hands, he's completely useless. You know, like he's kind of like Ben Askren. When you force Ben Askren to when you force Ben Askren to fight, you know, to be like a striking fight, you know, like a stand-up fight, it's like he's very, very garbage at that. And it's the same with Demian Maia, except Demian Maia might be a little bit better at throwing hands, not by a lot, but Belal Muhammad definitely has the advantage of, you know, being the better, you know, striker. So yeah, so my official prediction for this fight, it is a very, very hard fight. But if I would have to pick one, I would have to lean more towards Belal Muhammad by a unanimous decision. Like, I just think that he's the younger fighter, you know. Belal Muhammad has been a lot more active than and he has been a lot more active than Demian Maia, cause his last fight was March 13, 2021. So is this year is maybe like 3 months ago. So he hasn't. So it's not that long of a layoff, and he got a fight pretty quick. And Demian Maia hasn't fought in a bit, so I think that layoff is really gonna play like is really gonna give Demian Maia a lot of problems. So so that's my final prediction is Belal Muhammad by a unanimous decision. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. I'm Preston from Fight Media 360, and thank y'all for watching this video.